Welcome, deep divers. Today we're diving into something, well, absolutely fundamental. The Global Telecom Service Market. It sounds maybe a bit dry, but think about it.
It's anything but dry when you realize what it powers.
Exactly. It's the invisible infrastructure, the bedrock, the backbone of our entire digital economy.
Is it better?
Every video call you make, checking your smart thermostat, streaming, gaming, it all runs on this.
It's indispensable.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And the growth figures we're seeing, they're genuinely transformative. Yeah. Okay, let's unpack this and see what's really going on.
What's fascinating here is just how deeply woven these services are becoming into, well, everything we do.
Right.
So our mission today is really to pull back the curtain on this vital market. We want to explore where it stands now, look at its projected future.
And crucially, figure out where that growth is happening and what's fueling it.
Precisely. We need to understand this powerful engine behind our hyper-connected world and, importantly, what it means for you.
And it is some engine. Let's start with the big numbers, because the scale is just staggering.
It really is.
Back in 2021, the global market was already valued at, get this, $1.71 trillion.
Trillion, with a T.
Yeah. But here's where it gets really interesting looking ahead. Projections show it's set to more than double. By 2033, reaching an incredible $3.63 trillion.
Wow.
That's running at a solid compound annual growth rate, CAGR, of 6.43%. These figures are just immense.
They are.
Is there like one surprising detail within that overall growth beyond just the sheer size that you think listeners might miss?
That's a great question. It's easy to just see the headline number.
Yeah.
But what stands out to me is that this isn't just, tweaking things.
It's just incremental upgrades.
No, exactly. This kind of consistent, strong expansion points to a really fundamental shift in how we live, how we work. The core drivers aren't just about making your phone faster. They're enabling completely new things. We're talking mainly about three big interconnected forces. First, the huge rollout of 5G. And that's not just faster downloads for consumers, though that's part of it. It's unlocking totally new enterprise services. Think real-time IoT in factories, maybe even remote surgery down the line.
Creating new revenue streams then.
Huge new revenue streams. Then there's the accelerating digitalization across basically every industry. Everyone needs these super low latency connections for AI, for cloud services, secure links for remote health.
The demand just keeps growing.
And that's the third point, the sheer surging global demand for data. Every video streamed, every game played, every smart device pinging a server. It all feeds this immense appetite.
So it's getting bigger, but also more critical, more complex.
That's it exactly. It's becoming foundational.
That point about enterprise and IoT, that really drives home how fundamental it is. Not just a nice to have for consumers.
Right.
But do these forces hit everywhere equally? Or are we seeing like different stories in different parts of the world? I can't imagine it's uniform.
You're absolutely right. It's definitely not uniform. The global picture is more like a mosaic with different regional dynamics playing out.
How so?
Well, the drivers might be universal 5G, digitalization, data demand, but their impact, the speed of adoption, that varies a lot. You've got mature markets, stable but innovating. And then you have these rapidly emerging markets that are sometimes leapfrogging the older tech entirely.
Okay, so let's navigate that landscape. Let's start with North America, still a stronghold, right?
Absolutely, a major player.
The numbers show it expanding from around $595 billion in 2021 up to nearly $1.19 trillion by 2033. That's a 5.9% CAGR, still very respectable.
Very solid for a mature market.
And the U.S., no surprise, leads the way there, projected $949 billion. But here's where it gets really interesting for me.
Go on.
Canada and Mexico are actually growing faster than the regional average. Canada's hitting $159 billion at 6.5% CAGR, and Mexico at $80 billion with 6.1%.
That is interesting.
What does that tell us about a mature market like North America? Is it just about keeping the lights on with good infrastructure, or is there more innovation?
It's a mix, but maybe with more emphasis on innovation because the market is quite saturated, especially in the U.S.
Right.
North America's growth, even if it's slightly below the global average rate, it's sustained because they keep investing heavily in that next-gen infrastructure. Advanced fiber, continuing the 5G rollout.
Sure.
But the faster percentage growth in Canada and Mexico, that suggests they're maybe not just catching up, but really benefiting from strong digitalization efforts, maybe a bit less saturation, allowing for higher growth percentages off a smaller base.
Okay, so different stages of maturity mean different growth patterns.
Exactly. It shows that dynamic quite clearly.
Makes sense. So let's cross the Atlantic. How's Europe looking in comparison?
Europe's also making a very substantial contribution. Really shows their digital transformation efforts kicking in steadily. We're looking at revenues climbing from $415 billion back in 21 to a projected $834 billion by 2033. That's a 6% CAGR. So pretty consistent.
And within Europe, any leaders?
Well, the big economies like Germany and the UK, they hold significant shares naturally. Germany's heading towards $181 billion, the UK around $119 billion.
Right.
But what's maybe more telling is that countries like Spain, Sweden, and also the collective rest of Europe category, they're actually posting growth above that 6% average.
Ah, so broader growth then.
Yes, it's not necessarily explosive like we might see elsewhere, but it signals this really widespread, steady digital adoption right across the continent, a sort of consistent push for connectivity.
Seems like a sign of maybe coordinated policy, too, with the EU.
Could well be. Reflecting efforts towards digital inclusion and maintaining competitiveness, it's solid, steady progress.
Okay, so we have North America as a stable stronghold, Europe advancing steadily. Where's the real engine room? Where's the explosive growth and momentum coming from?
Oh, that would unequivocally be Asia-Pacific.
Figured as much.
Yeah, this region isn't just participating. It's really set to dominate, both in sheer size and the pace of growth. It's expanding from $439 billion in 2021 to project over $1.02 trillion by 2033.
Over $1 trillion just in APAC.
Just in APAC. And that's with a really robust 7.3% CAGR.
Wow. And the key players there. China, I assume.
China is, of course, a massive factor, projected to reach $375 billion. Japan's also very significant at $151 billion.
Okay. And here's where it gets really interesting again, right? Is there one country that's just rocketing ahead?
There absolutely is. India. India is emerging as the fastest growing major market globally in this whole space. It's projected to hit nearly $146 billion by 2033. And listen to this, CAGR. 8.2%.
8.2%. That's incredible. What's behind that? Just population?
Population is part of it, sure, but it's much more than that. It's this aggressive push for really affordable data plans.
Right. Data is famously cheap there.
Exactly. Plus major government digitalization programs like Aadhaar and this booming mobile-first economy that's just transforming everything. Banking, education, you name it. The scale and speed are unprecedented.
So it's policy demand meeting technology.
Perfectly put. And it's not just the giants. Singapore, Southeast Asia as a whole, the rest of APAC, they're all posting strong growth over 7%, the CAGR too. It's dynamic right across the board.
A fascinating picture of rapid deployment meeting massive demand.
It really is.
That huge momentum in Asia-Pacific really underscores the global shift. But let's not forget the next wave, right? The emerging markets. They're also adding fuel to this fire.
Absolutely critical.
South America, for instance. Looks like it has really promising potential.
It does indeed.
Set to more than double, growing from $111 billion in 21 to $243 billion by 2033. That's a healthy 6.7% CAGR.
Very strong growth.
Brazil's leading there, as you'd expect, $114 billion. Argentina next at $36 billion.
Right.
Again, it's broader. Chile, Peru, Colombia, all showing strong momentum above 6%.
Right.
So how are these economies using this tech? Are they just copying older models or doing something different? This raises an important question about development paths, doesn't it?
It does, and that's a great point. What's often happening is they're actually bypassing the old landline-heavy infrastructure.
Skipping a step.
Exactly. Leapfrogging straight to mobile and advanced wireless. This lets them build more agile, often cheaper networks, really tailored for populations that are mobile-first anyway.
So it's not just copying, it's adapting, innovating.
Yes. Things like satellite internet for remote areas, specialized mobile financial services for people without bank accounts. The growth is tied to really fundamental connectivity needs, driving digital inclusion, opening up economic opportunities.
That's a fantastic insight. Really shows how vital these services are. Now, speaking of fast expansion, the Middle East is another hot spot.
Definitely one to watch.
Climbing from $82 billion up to $178 billion by 2033. That's a 6.6% CAGR. Saudi Arabia, $49 billion. Turkey, $33 billion. They're key drivers.
Important markets there.
But here's where it gets really interesting, yet again. The UAE.
Ah, yes, the UAE.
Stands out with one of the highest growth rates globally, 7.4% EKGR. Projected to hit nearly $27 billion. What's driving that specific surge in the UAE compared to its neighbors?
Well, the UAE is a fascinating case of strategic vision paying off.
How so?
It's driven by very aggressive government digitalization plans, these ambitious smart city projects.
Like in Dubai and Abu Dhabi.
Exactly. And a really strong focus on attracting foreign investment, international business, top talent. They've deliberately positioned themselves as an innovation hub.
And that demands top-tier connectivity.
Absolutely. So you see rapid infrastructure deployment, early adoption of things like 5G, and you have a diverse, digitally savvy population pushing demand. It's very much a deliberate policy choice fueling that telecom growth.
Strategic investment makes a difference.
Okay. And finally, Africa, showing a steady, significant growth path.
Yes, a steady growth trajectory there.
The market's projected to grow from $72 billion in 21 to $154 billion by 2033. That's a solid 6.1% CAGR. Still, very healthy growth.
South Africa leads $70 billion. Nigeria also major at $28 billion. But what I find noteworthy is the rest of Africa category. It contributes nearly $55 billion.
That's a very important point.
It's not just about a couple of big economies, is it? What does that broad contribution signal for the continent?
It signals a really profound shift happening. That broad growth, especially in the rest of Africa, points to widening investment in infrastructure and, crucially, increasing mobile connectivity, empowering huge populations.
People coming online, essentially.
Many for the first time in a meaningful way. Like parts of South America, many regions are going straight to mobile broadband, skipping the old fixed lines.
Then that enables
Things like mobile banking, which is huge for financial inclusion, better access to education, healthcare through digital platforms. It's creating entirely new local digital economies. It's really a foundational step toward greater economic development across the continent.
Wow, what a trip around the world through telecom. So we've covered a lot of ground, a lot of numbers. What does this all mean for you, our listener? How do we tie all these threads together?
Well, zooming out, the big picture is undeniable, isn't it? The global telecom service market isn't just ticking along. It's in this incredibly dynamic, transformative growth cycle.
Right.
We've seen Asia Pacific just powering ahead, driving scale and momentum.
Leading the charge.
Then you have North America and Europe providing that sort of essential stability and maturity, constant innovation underpinning the whole system.
They're steady anchors.
Exactly. And then these incredibly exciting emerging regions, South America, the Middle East, Africa, they are clearly fueling that next wave of expansion. Often, as we said, through really innovative leapfrogging strategies.
It really is a global story, but with these distinct regional chapters, each playing a crucial role in this evolving digital world.
Absolutely.
So the big takeaway here for you is that these telecom services, they're not just growing fast. They're fundamentally at the core of global connectivity and the digital economy.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, they're foundational.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The invisible, indispensable infrastructure.
Yeah.
Everything from education, healthcare, commerce, entertainment, it's all built on this.
Right.
Understanding these dynamics is really key to understanding where the world is heading and, frankly, how to participate in it.
Well said.
And what a future it looks like. We started this deep dive talking about $1.71 trillion.
Seems like a while ago now.
And we're looking at it hitting $3.63 trillion. Just incredible growth, fueled by 5G, by digitalization everywhere, by our seemingly endless demand for data.
Yeah.
We've seen the strongholds, the steady adopters, the explosive momentum, and that promising potential in emerging markets. Each region with its own story.
Indeed. So, considering all this explosive growth, this foundational role, here's something to think about.
Go on.
What do you think will be the next truly disruptive technology or service that emerges from this hyper-connected world, beyond the 5G and digitalization we're seeing now? Think about what ubiquitous, ultra-fast, low-latency connectivity really enables. What parts of life, what industries could be transformed in ways we can barely even imagine today?
That is a fantastic question to ponder, something for you all to chew on. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the global telecom service market.
Thanks, everyone.
Keep exploring, keep connecting those dots in your own world, and we'll catch you next time.